Continue to pray for those in church who are sick. Continue to pray for Roger, Jerry, for Jim, Peggy. Continue to pray for Bendy. Talked to her, I guess, Monday, and said she was doing good. So just keep her in your prayers. Others tonight sick. Continue to pray for them. Remember, keep praying for Benny. Pray for each other. Pray for our nation. Anybody have a spoken request on your heart tonight?
Pray for the Carolyn
Yeah.
family. She passed away yesterday.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned Daddy there, but I just tell everybody he seems to be doing a little bit better now. He's getting outside
Good.
and stuff a little bit. Once weather gets nicer for here and all, that might be part of it too. But we got to go back Friday. They're gonna draw more fluid off of him Friday, and then he goes next week to the doctor in Winston. That is gastro
Right.
neurology doctor. So maybe they can get him on some medicine for his liver there.
Yep.
Remember the family of Joel Allen? Did you know Harry Allen?
Mm-hmm.
It's his wife, she passed away. Remember them? They're dear friends of mine, and I've known them since I was about 16.
Mhm.
Their son that had a really bad accident when he was 16.
Mhm.
Left him really quadriplegic. And
Yeah.
they took such excellent care of him, and up until the day he died. He was
Mhm.
like 50 years old when he
Yeah.
passed. And they always took such good care of him, and I've always told her, you're going to have a lot of stars in your crown,
Mm-hmm.
because she's done a lot of worrying and loving,
Mm-hmm.
and on her, well, she's got plenty of children, but, you know, they had to take care of Michael all the time.
Yep.
I know they're reuniting.
Yeah, he was teaching when at North High when this boy had
But was he
an
a
accident.
vocational teacher?
I think he taught drafting maybe.
Harry Allen.
Harry Allen. Yeah, I remember when boy had the wreck.
Was a teacher.
Mhm,
She
yeah.
was I think an elementary school
Mm-hmm.
teacher.
Anybody else?
I've got an uncle that fell and broke his wrist, and he hurt his back. He had to have surgery on it. To remember him in prayer.
Remember that?
I'm about fine, and Lily said it was awful hard for her to get in and out of the bed, so she's still pretty sore.
Yeah. Made by uplifted hand. We'll ask Brother Benjamin if he'll lead us tonight.
Kind gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you tonight, Lord, this Son was no how here, Lord. Lord, we thank you, Lord, for another opportunity to gather here in your house, Lord, and worship you, Lord, and learn and grow in your word. Lord, we just ask you, Lord, that you forgive us, Lord, of our faults and failures, Lord, and our sins and our shortcomings to you, Lord. Lord, we just ask that you be with all these many special prayer requests we've mentioned here tonight, Lord. There's several different ones throughout the house here tonight, Lord. Their families that lost loved ones, Lord. Pray that you just comfort them, take care of them, Lord. Only you can, Lord. Just wrap your arms around them, love them up, Lord. Lord, there's ones with cancer and just different things, Lord, and the different diseases, Lord. Pray that you help them, and other ones that sick, Lord. We just pray that you just be in each and every one tonight here, Lord. Lord, we pray for our country, Lord. Pray that you just help our leaders to look to you and make their decisions, Lord. Lord, we pray for the ones over in Ukraine, Lord, and the war going on over there, Lord. Pray that you just keep them safe, Lord, and help them, Lord, through the tough times they're going through right now, Lord. Just watch over them, Lord, and look after them, Lord. We ask that special prayer request there, Lord, and pray that you be with the teachers tonight, Lord. Pray that you just give them the word to stand in need of, Lord. We pray that they can bring the Bible out, Lord, in a way that we can understand, Lord, and be a better Christian for you, Lord, and learn and grow in your word. Lord, we just thank you, Lord, for all your many blessings, Lord, and everything you've done for us and all that you're going to do. And just go with us and be with us, Lord, and be guide and direct. All these things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen. So again, it's good to be here. We're going to try to finish up the 46th chapter and maybe 47th. So you pray for us tonight, bring us out in the way we understand it. The
Finished up what about?
46th chapter, down to verse 8. So we're going to start right there. Says the works of the Lord. What? That's where I'm going to start. It says, Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow, and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge, Shelah. Psalmist says, Come and behold the works of the Lord. What desolations he had made. You know, God created the heavens and the earth, everything that was in the earth. Created man, his own image, breathed to his nostrils breath of life. He took care of man, blessed him, done everything that he could do for man, but yet man still sinned. Man came short. Man fell in the Garden of Eden. But Psalmist said he maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. I was thinking about this today, you know, this this war that's going on between Russia and Ukraine. You know, the Lord could stop that in just a fraction of a second. He could put a stop to it. All the wars and fightings and all these things going on in these other nations, God could put a stop to it if he wanted to, if it was his will. But the Bible tells us that there'll be, in the last days, be wars and rumors of wars. There's not going to be peace on this earth until Jesus comes back, especially in these Middle Eastern nations. They've not known anything but war throughout their entire history. I guess you might say that they love to fight, but you know, one day God's going to bring a perfect peace here on this earth. It says he breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in fire. You know, I can't help but think, you know, back when children of Israel came through the Red Sea, and Pharaoh come in behind them. Pharaoh and his horses and chariots, his war machine, and no doubt Pharaoh probably thought that he would overtake the children of Israel, and that he would capture them and bring them back and hold them captive again in Egypt. But I wonder what he thought when that last chariot or last horse or last foot soldier stepped off into the Red Sea when the water started to come back. I wonder what Pharaoh felt then. I believe that they knew that this was the hand of God, and the Bible said God destroyed them, drowned Pharaoh and his whole army there in the Red Sea. And the children of Israel, they came out on the other side. Psalmist says, "Be still, and know that I am God." I know that when the children of Israel, when they came up on the other side of the Red Sea, the Bible said they came up singing. They were singing praises to God. They were thanking him for taking care of them, for delivering them from their enemy. But it didn't last long, did it? Just a little while after that, they began to complain and murmur again that they were hungry and thirsty, didn't have anything to eat or drink, and Moses, he led them out there to die in the wilderness. They said, we wish we'd have stayed over in Egypt, so at least we had something to eat while we was over there. But, God intervened again, didn't he? He gave them water from the rock, and he fed them manna in the mornings and quail the evenings. Done that for 40 years, took care of them. Blessed them like that they'd never been blessed. And the psalmist said, the psalmist said that God would be exalted among the heathen. I'll be exalted in the earth. I'm sure that after Pharaoh and his army had perished in the Red Sea, it didn't take long for word to get out that something, I guess you might say, spectacular had happened. Something out of the ordinary had happened. A whole army had been defeated and not one shot fired. Not one arrow slung, not one spear through. Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing what God can do. But he'll be exalted. I'm sure that these other nations that were round about, they took notice of the children of Israel. They took notice, and they knew that, God was on the side of the people of Israel. God was with them. God was taking care of them. And, as we said before, at one time our nation was a nation that feared God. Was a nation that other nations looked at with I guess you might say, with a certain fear and dread, knowing that, this nation, that we were one nation under God, that, we served a God, and they were sort of, I guess, afraid to do a whole lot. But how things has changed today, haven't they? We've become a weak nation, and I believe the biggest majority of it's got to do with Christians have become weak. Christians don't do as they one time did, and I'd say 95% of it's fear. Afraid something bad's going to happen. If you read throughout the Bible always tells us that God will take care of his people, that he'll protect us, he'll watch out after us. He'll lead us and guide us, the Bible says, with his strong arm. As long as we're safe with him tonight, we have nothing to fear. We shouldn't be afraid, but we should just exalt him. Because the psalmist said, the Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. God's with us. He'll fight our battles. He'll take care of our enemies. And, if there's one thing that Christian people need to pray today, is we need to pray that God would remove some of these leaders that's leading our nation and these other nations. That God would remove them. That God would put some people in there that feared him. Put some people in there that stood for something. Right now we have people in authority that cares nothing for God. They care nothing for the people. They're just out to what gain that they can get. And, that's wrong. That wasn't how this nation was founded. This nation was founded that, the government was supposed to work for the people. But now the government thinks people work for them. We do what they say. Shouldn't be like that, but it's got like that. But the psalmist said, we need to remember the works of the Lord and what he's done. Remember what he's done for us. He's done a whole lot for us. He's taken care of us down through the years. He'll never leave us nor forsake us. He'll be with us to the end of the earth. And, think about what he has done, but most of all, think about what he's going to do. God's going to do some great things. I believe God's going to show some people pretty shortly just who is in charge. But he's going to show some folks just exactly who he is and what he can do. But until then, as I said, we need to pray. Pray for our nation, that God would give our leaders the wisdom to do what's right. Whether they do it or not, I doubt it. Because I said before, I believe that some of these folks, God's turned them over to reprobate mind. I believe that they've gone so far they don't care. They care for nobody, nothing. But we just need to remember that, as the psalmist said, the Lord of hosts is with us. If we belong, as I said Sunday, we belong to the most powerful army in the world. We belong to the army of God, and the army of God will never be defeated. So we just need to thank God for that. Anybody got anything to say on the rest of this chapter? Okay, we'll start in 47. We'll go back and get 45 a little later. So, in chapter 47, verse 1 says, "Oh, clap your hands, all you people. Shout unto God with the voice of triumph. For the Lord Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth." As I said, when the children of Israel came across the Red Sea, they came up on the bank, came up on dry ground, and they were singing praises. They were singing songs of triumph. They were exalting the Lord because, terrible things that He had done, great things, mighty things, things that no man could do. And He, as I said, He destroyed Pharaoh and his armies. Then you read about throughout the Bible the great things that God has done. And if you don't think that we're serving a great God, you go read the story of the three Hebrew children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And it's not a fable; that's a true story. They made the decree. King did, and that if they didn't fall down and worship the idol, it was set up that they'd be thrown in the fiery furnace. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego wouldn't bow. They done just like they had before. They wouldn't bow down to this idol. So they took them. They heated the furnace hotter than it had ever been heated before. That even the guards that threw them into the furnace, the Bible said it was so hot that it even killed them. But yet, the king lost his sleep that night, got up next morning, went down, looked into the furnace, and cried out to his servants, those that were there with him, said, "Did we not cast 3 men into the furnace?" And they said, "Yes, O king." He said, "Well, I see 4. And he said, "The 4's like the Son of Man." God came down that night in the furnace, and God intervened. The Bible said they didn't. Their hair didn't have the smell of smoke about their clothes, or the hair on their head wasn't even singed. So we're serving a great God, aren't we? And then you talk about Daniel, throwing Daniel into a den of hungry lions. Those lions. Normal times would have ate Daniel up, wouldn't have left anything there where he couldn't find anything of Daniel. But when the king went to look, Daniel was still alive. The lions hadn't touched him. So we're serving a great God. So it's no wonder the psalmist cried out, "Oh, clap your hands, all you people. Shout unto God with the voice of triumph." We need to be singing the praises of God. Need to be singing the song of triumph, because the Bible says we're going to triumph over our enemies. God's going to win. It says he shall subdue the people under us and the nations under our feet. He shall choose our inheritance for us, the excellency of Jacob, whom he loved, Shelah. God is gone up with a shout, the Lord with the sound of a trumpet. Sing praises to God. Sing praises unto our King. Sing praises. So the psalmist, he was getting excited because he knew that, God had, he had subdued his enemies. He'd taken care of those that, was seeking his life. David, the Bible said, was a man after God's own heart. Saul was out to kill David, was out to take David's life. David fled, hid in the caves, and stayed away from Saul. And God took care of him. God watched over him. He didn't let Saul and his men take David's life. It's no wonder he said, "Sing praises." He said, "For God is the King of all the earth. Sing ye praises with understanding." Not only is he a God of this nation, but he's a God of all nations. He's the God of this world. He's the one that every knee shall bow to and every tongue shall confess one day that he is the King of kings and Lord of lords. But as I said, it's going to be too late for some of them. They're not going to. They're going to miss it. They're going to miss out on the things that God has in store for his people, and they're going to end up in a lake of fire. God reigneth over the heathen. God sitteth upon the throne of his holiness. It says God reigneth over the heathen. Sometimes you can't help but think, why does God allow these evil people, to gain control, to be in power? Why does God allow somebody like this Putin, evil man? Why does God allow somebody like that to, go into another country and take innocent lives, destroy everything? Why does God allow that to happen? Well, if you read throughout the Bible, all down throughout the Bible, God used a lot of evil people to get his plan done, to get his will done. God uses these people to, in order to show the world that he is the God that he says he is. We just need to sing praises to him. It says the princes of the people are gathered together, even the people of the God of Abraham. For the shields of the earth belong unto God. He is greatly exalted. The psalmist said, down throughout the Old Testament, a lot of times when Israel, when they would go out into one of these other nations, go out to fight these nations, God went before them. And most of the time God defeated the enemies before they even got into these nations. But sometimes, because of disobedience, God let some of these real small nations, I guess you might say, make a mess out of Israel's army. Scare them and run them off. They were never, I guess what you say, really defeated, because the nation of Israel will never be defeated. But God brought his own people to their knees on several different occasions. I don't know why all this is going on, all this in Ukraine and all that, but you know, I was thinking today, you know, God may be trying to get some folks' attention, may be trying to wake some folks up. You know, this COVID and all that, you know, all the people that died from this, you know, I believe it may have been God's way of, you know, waking people up. You know, but we don't know what God's plan, what God's purpose is. But we're not to question Him. We're just to serve Him, obey Him. So the prince people get together. For the shields of the earth belong unto God. He is greatly exalted. So everything tonight belongs to Him. Man can't take another breath without God knowing it. Man can't speak a word without God knowing it. All these things, it's, you know, and especially in the day we live, seem like that our own government tries to cause a diversion to get folks' attention on something else, and then they'll pull a fast one behind everybody's back. But it's not like that with God. God knows everything. God knows the very thoughts and intents of our heart. He knows what we're thinking right now. He knows what we'll be thinking. You know, 10 minutes from now, 10 days from now, 10 years from now. God tarries is coming. God knows. He knows us better than we know ourselves. So the earth belongs to God. And everything that's in the earth belongs to Him. You know, everything we got belongs to God. God's just letting us use it for a little while, isn't He? You know, heard people say, well, you know, talk about all the possessions they've got, all the money and the land and cars and houses and all this stuff that they've got. But when it comes right down to it, they don't own none of it. God owns it all. God's in control of it all. He's just letting man use it for a little while. Anybody got anything to say on this tonight? Next Wednesday night, Lord willing, we'll try to go back and get the 45th chapter. That way we won't skip over it. Anybody got anything to say? Well, if not, then we'll stand to our feet and we'll ask Brother Dale if he'll dismiss us.